Hello and welcome, my name is Kamilian, and in this series I share unpopular opinions of mine on movies, TV shows, and games. Now with that, today I believe that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is highly over-criticized. Now I'm not trying to tell you this as a fact, nor am I trying to change your mind. All I ask is that you hear me out. And naturally, spoiler warning for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania beyond this point. Modoc and CGI. I'm going after two birds with one stone for this. My views on CGI are very much against the grain. For the most part, I enjoy the use of CGI. Yes, CGI can be terrible, but when done right, I really enjoy CGI, and generally disagree when people argue that it is overused, or in this case, like the Hobbit films, feels like people hate on CGI simply because it's CGI. Take Modoc, for example. I don't believe that his CGI was really all that bad. He is literally a giant head. Marvel were going to cop criticism regardless of what direction they took him in. Marvel did exactly what a lot of fans have complained about them not doing in the past, and they gave him a fairly comic accurate appearance. Keeping in mind his origins for the MCU explain most of the visual differences between some iterations and this one. Modoc is meant to be distracting and uncomfortable to look at, and has very rarely been taken seriously. I do agree that he definitely got worse as the movie went on. However, as a whole, I actually thought Modoc was done rather well. As for the film's CGI itself, I personally was negatively distracted more by the CGI work in the scene with Janet first patting the stingray-like mount near the beginning of the film over anything that Modoc was a part of. The majority of the film takes place within the quantum realm, which naturally has to pretty much be completely done via CGI, which is fine because the quantum realm isn't really supposed to look overly realistic in the first place. And as I said before, Modoc, being an enormous floating head, is as unrealistic as it gets. Just something to think about. It's just like, early-ish on in the film, Janet leads Hank and Hope to a bar of sorts. Fans have accused Ant-Man 3 of being a rip-off because of its distinct similarities to the Mos Eisley Cantina in Star Wars A New Hope. In Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, creatures of all kinds are seen drinking together at the bar, just like in A New Hope. This led some fans to believe that the bar scene was further proof that Quantumania was trying a little too hard to be like Star Wars. And it's not just Star Wars. Other fans noticed some similarities with another popular MCU film, some claiming that the quantum realm is basically Star Wars cross Guardians of the Galaxy. Naturally, I disagree with both, as neither the Cantina scene nor Guardians of the Galaxy feel anything like Ant-Man 3 to me. If we start saying this movie is like this movie because of the smallest little details, if we're clutching at straws like that, then there is literally no hope left. Just because Star Wars had a cantina scene doesn't mean no other movie can have a cantina scene without it being claimed that it has ripped off Star Wars. That is lunacy. Kang's lack of power. Throughout the film, Kang is portrayed as this ominously powerful being. He can kill on command, and has seemingly unlimited strength that comes from both his helmet and suit. Beyond that, he does not hesitate to show this power off when he wants to get his way. It makes sense to me that when Kang fights Scott, the two are fairly evenly matched. After all, Kang's suit is damaged, and Scott's suit is still intact. However, before Kang's suit is broken, it is ultimately the Ants and Modoc that take him down, which, yeah, look, that seems a little silly, especially with the absurd war cry that Modoc screams as he flies straight at Kang. But moving on. The ants were pretty advanced, as Hank explains in the film, but it really does seem that even with the ants combined with Modoc's sneak attack, it doesn't really feel that they would have a remote chance to beat a man who has killed several Avengers across multiple universes and timelines. Underestimated consequences. To dive down a rabbit hole for a second, the way that Kang is ultimately defeated, yeah, it does end up feeling more like a cop-out than a well-deserved victory. And at the end of the film, Janet is able to open a portal to get everyone home, but there's a sense of lack of consequences here. Yes, they have to move quickly. Hank and Janet jump through, followed by Hope. However, Scott pushes Cassie through and stays behind to keep Kang from getting out, leading to an intense battle, which is the one I was referring to before. When it seems like all hope is lost for Scott making it back, Hope crashes back through the portal at the last second and helps Scott take Kang down. However, the portal closes. Scott and Hope are left in the quantum realm for all of 2 seconds, until Cassie reopens the portal, allowing Hope and Scott to escape. The situation seems incredibly anticlimactic, with very little to no stakes or consequences that have any impact on the characters, at least immediately, but I'll come back to that. So supposedly they've defeated Kang, but instead of getting stuck there, giving Cassie and her grandparents a chance to try to get them out over time, they are immediately able to make it home. Yeah, it is anticlimactic, and I get that. However, the end credit scene, I think, is setting up something much bigger than we are giving it credit for. I would put this on the same scale as the first time we see Thanos turn around in a mid-credit scene, revealing his face, and kind of, oh my god, Thanos is a thing in the MCU. He's made an appearance. We're gonna see him later on. The weight and implications of what was said throughout the film, such as Kang going, I am your only hope, etc., to seeing what's potentially coming in that mid-credit scene, that was no small scene. Again, equivalent to that of when we first saw Thanos turn around and give that smile. So naturally, this is going to be huge. Ant-Man 3 excels at delving into a very unique and wildly weird approach. The appearance of the movie is giving viewers a personal scale, character-driven story with slow burn stakes set in the wackiest setting possible. It's incredibly disorienting, and deliberately so, as it serves as a metaphor for the MCU at this point, in that no one will see what's coming. Ultimately, with everything I've just said, it is just my opinion. And at the end of the day, that's all it is. Just my opinion. It is not fact. I'd honestly love to see what your thoughts are about this down in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not? What do you think's going to happen next? Tell me about it down in the comments below. But naturally, thank you for clicking on the video in the first place. That alone means a lot. But what means more, ultimately, thank you for hearing me out.